Hello everyone, welcome back to a new replay cast. Today we're going to be having a look at, in the right side of the map, spawning as a red Terran. It's going to be Dream, with this beautiful guy at his command center. And in the top side of the map, we're going to be having Mr. Razor Edge's Zest as the pink Protoss player, starting with a little bit of a wall, of course, on this map. Couple of ways you can do it. Most common way to build the gateway here, and then the cybercore hill here, will allow the Reaper to still jump up here and perhaps even up here, but won't be able to get into that main base. Now this is one of the shorter maps in the map pool. Actually the shortest map for Reaper rush distance. Reaper can be in your base very quickly, so having a wall is absolutely necessary, as well as playing core before Nexus to get a faster adapt out. Now we have that probe scout coming out of Zest, very common in PvT, of course, the probe scout. Lots of shenanigans happening these days, and Dream, known for pulling out those shenanigans, loves his proxy 3 racks. Loves, not too sure what he thinks about the regular proxy racks with just a proxy Reaper, but I've seen him proxy racks a couple of times now, so I am completely aware of what this man is capable of, and so is Zest. He tries to get some damage onto that SCV. Good depot lift there by Dream will deny that SCV from taking any more damage. We're gonna see an SCV scout coming out of Dream as well, and most likely we'll just be going into a what seems to be a regular Reaper expand. A little bit of denying being done by Zest, but doesn't really work as Dream gets the command center down the moment. 400 minerals hit that bank. Second pylon on the low ground for Zest, so a lot of the time when you see that second pylon on the low ground, this kind of indicates that this is not going to be any kind of Stargate play, as Stargate play usually has the second pylon in the main base. Now the reason for that is if you're not playing Stargate, you're going to be needing that wall on the low ground to deal with Hellions. But if you have Stargate, you either have your Phoenixes or your your Oracles to deal with those Hellions, so a wall is less necessary. So this is a little bit of an indicator. Now of course he can still just build the Stargate here, but that might be spotted by your Reaper. So curious to see what is going to happen, as the Reaper will try to make its way into the main base. Does manage to get in. A little bit of a fake bunker. It was a real bunker being built, but not sure what the use of that was. Probably just to get into the main base with the Reaper. Doesn't manage to spot this general area though, so isn't quite aware of what's happening here. Now we see a Twilight on the way, as well as a second Stalker. And this looks a lot like what Zest recently showed in the GSL against Cure, where he will be opening 2-gate into Stalker, into a second gateway. I think he builds a second Stalker after this, and then will warp in a Sentry the moment his warp gate finishes. Sentry will be used for scouting, to see what the opponent is doing. Now, a lot of the time after the blink starts, we also see a robotics facility go down for Zest. We see Dream trying to hop into this main base, see if we can figure out the tech, sees the Twilight and leaves immediately. Also saw the lack of any Dark Shrine or the lack of a fast robo, so really indicating that there is indeed a Twilight upgrade. Now whether that's Charge or Blink, most likely he will be guessing Blink, as that's just the most common follow-up from an early Twilight Council. Robotics facility, of course, slightly too late in case of a DT drop. If you have a DT drop, you're going to be building the robotics facility before you get the Dark Shrine, and also before you get this upgrade, usually. So we should be Dream being kind of aware of what's happening here. Decides to hop into a mine drop, most likely going to be a double mine drop, as there is a single Hellion on the map already. Reaper managed to stay alive, which is kind of a big deal. We'll be able to use it for spotting stuff around. Now, something that has been a bit common recently in Korea in PvT is a proxy Dark Shrine with a gateway, and that's exactly what Dream is looking for right now. If you lose the Reaper in the early game, usually the Hellion is used to scout around the map for that kind of shenanigans. But because the Reaper stayed alive, he will be able to do that with that Reaper. Now, we have the 2 mines and the 1 Hellion moving out on the map right now. We'll be... actually won't be able to do too much, I think. We see Zest in a very good position. He's so aware of timings as well. Knows that it's more likely that it will come through the top side, but doesn't completely give up the slow zones either. Manages to actually get a big mine hit here for a Dream. I was gonna say, managed to target down one of the mines, and that's big, but killing 7 workers is also kind of big, as we see a hallucination scout right now coming out of Zest. Will send it through the non-slow zoned areas to make sure it gets to the opponent's base later, or a bit quicker, excuse me. Actually idles it over here, so that's kind of bad for Zest, who really wants to know what is going on, and ideally wants to know it as fast as possible, especially if it's some kind of Banshee follow-up, maybe tank push as a follow-up. Now he will see the eBay done already and researching. He sees the the tech lab researching stim and combat shield, and Zest right now is going to know that this is a 3 Rex as a follow-up from the original 111. Or if you're real old school, we used to call that thing the Destiny Cloud Fist build. But of course nowadays just the 111 into the 3 Rex. With that eBay we'll go for a timing with 2 medevacs. He still has 1 medevac, so it is a 3 medevac timing, because you build that initial medevac out of the starport to do the harass, and if it survives, well, you're gonna have 3 medevacs. Could be used later once again to do a double mine drop or something like that. Most of the time you're gonna have 4 mines with your initial push. Sometimes we see people do a 4 mine drop with that, sometimes people do a 2 mine drop, and other times it just stays with the main army. You have some extra healing of your units. Now, after pushing away the initial mine drop, Zest realizes there's some time, right? He knows there hasn't been any mine producing, or guesses. Not a lot of mines have been produced from this factory, as it was busy building add-ons most likely. And now the mine production starts again, so you know it's safe to be on the map. Like, what could really hit him at this point? Well, this drop, for example, could hit him, and we see Dream taking the path of least resistance. As he goes through the non-slow zones, but Zest realizes that might be an option, and actually had an observer here realizing what's going on. He also had an observer, he was completely covered actually, so it wasn't just that area. Puts his stalkers in his main base, has a pylon on the edge, and if Dream decides to go in here, he will be met by a decent stalker count, which should be able to two-shot this medevac. Medevac starts running extremely low, and we'll be able to fly away, which is nice. We'll join up with that main army in the middle of the map. As we see Zest playing a Sentry Stalker style with, he does have charge, but charge is mainly used as a means to counterattack with a prism, and that's why he gets the attack upgrade rather than the armor. Zealots are not meant for fighting the real army. Prism goes into the natural, as we see good denial here by Zest, making sure no kind of drop can enter the main base. Now, 3 Zealots might not be able to do too much, decides to run them away as well, as 1 more Zealot in the main base. We might see another warp it. No, big supply block here out of Zest, 101 out of 101. We'll just need to evacuate this. Dream decided to go back home already with his with the rest of his army, so would have most likely been fine regardless. Now, Dream's third base is a little delayed. He has very good supply though, and Zest eco isn't all that either. He's building 5 pylons at the same time. He's floating a little bit of money because of his supply blocking shenanigans. Has some stalkers on the map, managed to find a marine here and there. We'll try to, of course, go back into the main base. There's 3 marines there, but without a mine to help out, I don't think that's going to be enough. 4 Zealots will head into the main base. There's still 5 stalkers on the map, trying to do some damage on these mines, trying to pick up a marine here and there. Are the stalkers in position? Stalkers are slightly out of position. Funnily enough, the scan in the main base reveals the plans of Dream here, and kind of got Zest to be like, alright, you try to do that, I'll move my stalkers in position. We'll try to pick up a unit here and there. As actually the Zealots go into the main base, another warping that's added on as well, and 16 workers go down almost immediately, kind of forcing Dream to be in a very all-in position right now. But with this ramp it's going to be so difficult for Dream to actually push up here. 23 workers have gone down. There is the Zealot still going ham. They will get cleaned up, but right now 35 workers against 61. Dream going for the drop into the third base, not being spotted by Zest, might be in a little bit of trouble there, but his army is absolutely massive. There's so many stalkers still in the main, would be able to join at the third base here as well. A fake Colossi even being built by Zest, who is really pulling out all the bunnies out of the hi-hat here. Oh! That was pretty cool to tank the mines with. Didn't completely work, loses 1 sentry, but in general a pretty good hold here by Zest, who is pulling ahead in supply right now. Dream is trying to desperately rebuild his SCVs, but down 20 workers. I feel like it might just be wiser to pull these SCVs and go for some kind of Hail Mary play. Prism's still alive, and Zest is so extremely annoying with this. Really just guarding this general ramp and trying to guard this area with force fields while counter-attacking. His army actually during this game hasn't been that great. Like, it can hold a ramp, but in an open fight it would absolutely lose. But there's no open fights here. Zest is just camping, and every time that bunny moves out, the prism goes in, which must be extremely frustrating for Dream to deal with, who is, by the way, getting 2 more Vikings. Now, this could be because he believes there is Colossi, because of the hallucination, but it could also be just to deal with that extremely pesky prism, and I think it might just be for that prism, as the 2 Vikings are in that position at least. Wouldn't mind if they go on a little mission to try and snipe that prism. Or actually will use his drops as well in combination with that. So he's gonna use the 2 Vikings to push this prism away. Tries to push it to the island. Actually, let's get the Prism with the 2 Vikings. So right now, yeah, 2 more Vikings on the way. He actually also believes there is a Colossi, which of course is completely incorrect. The hallucinated Colossi really doing a number right here on Dream, who is most likely going for some kind of SCV push. We're not seeing extra gases. Ooh, we are seeing extra gases. No armory yet though. So I'm very surprised he just keeps going. Zest's work account actually has been very low during all of this, and his eco isn't all that hot. The problem here for Dream is that he is completely unaware of this move by Zest. He has no vision here whatsoever. He's had very poor map vision throughout the game. Right now he's moving out, but this is the time for defending, my friend. Enhanced Shockwave not down yet. For these ghosts, there's a couple of Templar in this Prism, which might be able to drop out. Big storms landing on top of all of these Marauders, all of these Marines. Now, there's a lot of Marauders still alive. There's a couple of Medivacs trying to fly in. They need to heal this army. Mine's getting some decent hits, but 10 workers once again have gone down. +2 is about to finish up for Zest, who still has a way bigger army. As we see the Archon pulling in some damage as well, and Zest managed to win this game. Good game. As we have another game. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. Very much appreciated. Thanks everyone for watching, and see everyone next time. Bye bye.